Welcome, everyone. This is episode 4 of the Vote on Purpose podcast. Today is August 20th. I am joined with Brian, my other half of Vote on Purpose, and one of our special colleagues at American Airlines, Keedren Gantt. Keedren is the local 3640 president with CWA, the Communication Workers Union of America. We have a couple of important questions related to politics and voting this year.
Definitely.
So Brian is going to jump into it with Keedren. Thanks for being here with us.
I appreciate you guys for having me. Yeah, man, thanks for taking the time out. So we'll just jump right on in and just get right to it. Cool. So, man, what motivated you to run for a leadership position with the union?
Well, honestly, it wasn't my idea at all. One of my good friends and my desk mate, Nemanja, decided, that it would be good, healthy competition for us to throw our names in the hat. So we did that. We kind of, ran as a ticket, and I got elected. And so once I got elected, though, I'm one of those people that believe in giving my all to everything. Yeah. So once I got elected, and I started really getting myself involved, I found out that, hey, man, this is for me, So just the way that you can interact with people, who you can meet, the changes really that you can make, what you can be a part of, to me was just super positive, So, I went all in,
Right.
So here I am.
And that being said, just a quick little backstory. So we've known Keedren for about 9-ish years now, through U.S. Airways first, and we merged with American, working at the call center in Winston-Salem. So I can totally say I've seen Keedren take an entirely new role that fits him 100%. This is what he was meant to do for us.
Yeah,
so
it's good to see somebody take a position that, seems like it was like made for them. Or,
Yeah.
You fit right on in and took right over, took control, and doing a great job too. So
Appreciate that, man. Like I said, I dedicate myself to it. I really do. So.
And we appreciate it.
For sure, man. So another question really, regards to the union and yourself, how effective is the union with regards to labor relations and employee concerns? How does a union tie into that? Because a lot of people want to know what their, union dues are doing for them. They want to feel like they have some kind of backing. So what does a union do?
Well, if you want to start with the employer, first and foremost, the union goes in, negotiates wages and benefits. So generally speaking, especially in a call center environment, we're going to make, almost double of what our counterparts at other reservation or call center environments are going to make. And that's strictly because we're unionized, and we are covered by that backing. And also, in a state like North Carolina, we all know it's right to work.
Yeah.
So, our contract supersedes those regulations and what have you. So, those are another thing that, we benefit from, paid sick time. You get 4 weeks of vacation when you come through the door. Your insurance starts almost from day one. You name it. All of this stuff is what the union personally has done for us as it relates to U.S. Airways and or American Airlines. Now on a broader scale, the union really is a political entity. So what it tries to do on a broader scale, because its goal really, even though we are the members, its goal is to better society at large. So we as members, as dues paying members, it's on us to be active. Yes, I'm the president, but that's just a title. Right. I pay dues just like everybody else do, and everybody that does that have the same opportunities that I have. So I try to advocate for people to get involved.
Right.
And speak up.
Exactly. Because you're only as strong as the weakest. The chain is always only going to be as strong as the weakest link.
Yeah.
Great point.
That's true. And I think over the years, Brian and I have spoke up. And so for my past jobs, I worked for non-unions. And being in multiple non-union environments compared to this is night and day difference. I have a voice.
Right.
I don't have to feel threatened every day. Is today my last because somebody doesn't like me or doesn't like what I wore to work or whatever the case may be. And I think a lot of people don't understand how powerful that is.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So with that being said, our next question kind of in the respect of, let's say as a membership, we come together and we find that there is something that needs to be changed or amended in our contract. That's a major change since it came out 5-6 years ago. as the president, what role would you have in taking that forward to try to make that change happen?
Well, when it comes down to contract-related changes, and really, okay, so the only way that you can even make changes to an existing contract is with a letter of agreement, and that's actually way above the local president's head. So what I actually get to do, or I'm charged with doing, is bringing your concerns though to the person that does go and negotiate these things, and so that is generally what my role for the membership would be as it relates to the employer,
because we're a nationwide union.
Exactly,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the union itself, yeah. So, but that's what my local responsibility, and I even take it a step further because, believe it or not, I'm the only reservations president. All the rest are under locals where their president work at the airport.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
I get I guess if you want to call it I feel like it's my duty, let me put it that way, to champion reservations as a whole,
Right.
because of that, So I try to take things that I hear from out west and Dallas and Raleigh, and I try to put that all together and bring that forward for everybody, so,
Right.
I take
That's,
it
because
bigger
it's
than
not the
that.
same, and I think we forget here locally that there's more than just us
You know
in
what?
this union.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's another thing too. I think that people have this idea that you can change things locally, and it's like, no,
It's not a
it doesn't
separate
work like
contract,
that. So
right.
I have to make sure that the company follows the contract here locally and that they do what they're supposed to do with that. But changes, that I can't do
The
that.
bigger step.
Exactly. So,
You can voice the concern.
yeah, that's
and
it.
that's what we count on you for, is
Yeah.
taking that concern as a whole, the
Exactly.
next
Taking
step.
up the ladder.
Exactly.
And sometimes that change can take years.
Oh my God, yes.
And
sometimes
especially in a
it's-
time like now with COVID, where we're not even having
Operating
normal meetings,
Right.
negotiations are pushed back.
Right.
So talk about that for a second.
Well, as far as the negotiations and everything?
related to COVID.
Well, the company found itself upside down this year, as we all know, So one of the things that we, felt was beneficial for the work group at large, passenger service, was for us to push back the negotiation process, right? So the Railway Labor Act allows us to, in good standing and in good faith with the company, basically extend it a year. If neither side comes forward and say, hey, we want to negotiate. So neither side did. Now, we did have, a president or two that felt like we should go ahead and go to negotiations. Why? I could not, for the life of me.
Well, there are a
figure
lot
out.
of members that still think we should. We see it in the chat.
And if you really think about it, at the end of the day, wouldn't you be telling a company, if you know that this company is in red alert right now and they're bleeding money by every which part of the body that they can, if you want to go into negotiations, in my opinion, that's saying to them that, hey, we want to help you guys save yourself.
Right.
And so we're willing to give you whatever it is that you might need in order to stay afloat as a company.
Yep.
Makes sense.
No, I want to keep what we got. You need to work around what we got, and then once you get
We'll be
straight,
right
let's
here
get
when
more.
you're ready.
Exactly.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right,
So
right.
so that's how we kind of looked at it. Let's keep what we got. And because at the end of the day, too, with the work group now, reservations work group being 80% home base. Think about that. That was a $1.69 pay cut per person.
Right.
So everybody that was touting this,
Per
why don't
hour.
they just do $1 per person?
Yeah, here
They
you
did
go.
$1.69 per
Yeah.
person. Okay, so that's the thing. So I
Got
mean,
it, yeah.
and the company doesn't. They obviously are not seeing that as a big win for them to offer more part time, or people are crunching these numbers. You know what I mean? So if the company is not looking, I feel like we need to stop
Trying to
thank you, the problem that the company. I don't even think necessarily that they created the problem necessarily.
No.
But it was their spending habits that kind of got us as bad off as we are right now.
Right.
And it ain't got nothing to do with
And
us.
I think at some
right,
point, this kind of takes it away from the union part of it, but as members, we need to remember that our CEO has been through this type of situation more than once and survived it,
So it's
and
not
came out
new-
looking colorful on the other
Thank
side.
you. So,
So we need to support,
Yeah.
as hard as it is, and
Yeah.
it's a tough time because a lot of us, I'm not even working currently, but that's my choice. So,
Right.
but hopefully that's helping someone else
Exactly.
that's lower than me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, we got to remember that.
This is not abnormal. This is they've been
Right.
through this.
They've been through. I mean, I feel like the abnormal part is that this is the first time ever that there's been a decline in demand, though. And that is the biggest, you know, all other times, and that's what I've been trying to kind of push to the people who are just so worried about us going into bankruptcy. Kind of what y'all just said, you know, Doug Parker made his bones in bankruptcy, so he knows the ins and outs of that thoroughly, so he knows how to avoid it too.
Right.
But in the past, airlines have filed bankruptcy for purposes of overspending. It wasn't a lack of demand, it was we're going to just spend money. You know, so now we're in trouble. Right. You know, so let's not forget Legacy American Airlines was in the hole some $15 billion with their pension. And that's what caused them to file bankruptcy this last time.
Right.
Because they were in trouble with that. You know? So, you know, and that's the thing. And then on top of that, I say that to say too, that the people that's worried about us going into bankruptcy and worried about us losing the RHRA fund that they're going to fund for these people that take the early out.
Which, tell people what that is, that maybe listening that don't know.
Well, it's a retirement healthcare reimbursement account. Okay. And a healthcare reimbursement account actually is not something that's related to American Airlines. That's actually something that, you know, you can Google it. It's a
that's benefit. A medical thing.
So they just added a letter, you know. But once it's funded, it's funded. You know, and that's kind of the thing with this. So once they fund it, that's it, and these people will have that money, you know. But the bigger thing is people need to remember that when Legacy American Airlines filed bankruptcy and they consolidated and we merged with them, the pilot group or whoever that was that they owed that pension to didn't lose it in bankruptcy. American Airlines is still responsible for it, and they're still funding it. They're still sponsoring and funding it to this day.
Wow.
Yes. So it doesn't mean that you're going to It don't mean that you're talking to my Secretary Treasurer, Darla. She'll tell you too. You know, she's been around to have gone through 3 bankruptcies at this point in time, and she said only one of those resulted in wage loss.
Right. Wow. A lot of our colleagues have gone through that and are still here. So they took like a $5 an hour pay cut.
Well, that was the last time that they really took a pay hit was when they took that $5 an hour pay cut.
And they lost vacation or something. They lost some vacation.
They was doing half of the sick time. It was. I came in around that time, so.